sunshine.
What is up, guys? Welcome to Coffee Thoughts Podcast, episode 51. Really stoked to have passed the 50 episode mark, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching these and continuing to watch them, comment on them, and it just means a lot to be able to make these. It's, you know, as you guys know, something that I've become really passionate about doing, and it's just something that I really look forward to doing every single week. So thank you, and thank you for helping me just kind of get it to a point where it's just more consistent. It's been awesome. So, before I get into the episode, I always like to give a couple updates as usual. So you guys know the SayWeCanFly app is available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store if you have an Android. It's free. There's also a link to the website version down below if you don't have a phone. You can send me messages. There's a whole bunch of exclusive content, and you can just check it out. It's completely free. Thank you to everybody who's downloaded it. And make sure you turn push notifications on so I can send you messages whenever. Just about updates and saying hi and stuff like that. I also have merch on my Depop, link is below, and Gentleman Stoners episode 2 is out, so if you want to check that out, go to gentlemanstoners.com. Episode 3 will be coming soon as well. It's a show that me and my friend Mike have been writing and producing and filming, and we're going to do a whole season, so I'm really stoked about that. And I'm still working on my new albums, and those will be out sometime. So today I wanted to talk about acting in music videos, because acting has been something that's been more in my field of consciousness the last while, because we started writing this Gentleman Stoner show, which I didn't realize was going to actually just kind of continue to give us inspiration. And I've already learned a lot from filming only 3 episodes, and it's just given me more inspiration to start pursuing that more. And we were already writing a screenplay before we started filming this, but it's really, I don't know, it's really just invigorated something. And so I decided, like, man, I just want to pursue this shit as much as I can. So I've been doing a lot of research and just kind of watching a lot of classes online and just interviews with other actors that I look up to, and just kind of whatever resources I can get just to understand it as much as I can. So it's just been on my mind a lot more, and it's something that I'm thinking about and working at now. But I wanted to, I guess, talk about music videos, because I've had a lot of experience doing that over the last 10 years, and I think it can be helpful if you're an artist that's starting to do this. I think it can be tough at first sometimes to know how to approach a music video, and how to just kind of be in front of the camera, and how to convey the emotions that you want to convey. And I think ultimately it probably kind of ties into just acting in general, because honestly, just from what I've gathered, and I think from the classes that I've actually taken, like in person as well, and just like the people that I've studied online and everything, like, and just from like my personal experience with it to the extent that I've had, which has been mostly music videos, but also just doing these things now and just things over the years. Acting is literally just nothing but doing what you would do in real life, and it's listening to the other people that are talking to you, and it's not like you should just switch into this other mode. It's like, I think the key is actually bringing what you would do in real life in front of the camera, whatever you're making, whether it's this podcast or a fucking music video or a film or whatever. I think it's literally, and that's kind of the understanding I've come to, that it just comes down to empathy, and it comes down to just being able to just act how you would act in whatever situation you're in. And I think it's the same for music videos. And I think if you're the kind of person that is empathetic, and you already have a sense of how other people would feel, and you can easily put yourself in other people's shoes, I definitely have that. I've always had that. And like, if I see somebody like in front of me at the grocery store, like, I will just start thinking about, like, okay, what did you do today that got you here? Or if they seem sad, I'm like thinking about what they would be thinking. Or I remember I was at the airport in London, England recently, and I just was going back to my hotel room, and I saw this girl sitting on the floor on the phone, like, bawling her eyes out, like, to the point where I was just like, man, somebody just broke up with you. Like, I just 100% knew. And like, I just walked past her, and I just, like, I knew exactly how she felt. And like, that's partially due to because, like, I've been there, but it's just like, you can sense that shit. So I think that's really just all acting comes down to, is like, you kind of know how you would feel in a certain situation, and you just evoke a situation that you can recall, that you can feel those emotions. And it's the same. I really think it's the same with music videos. So I'm gonna talk more about music videos because I don't have a massive amount of experience yet with dialogue and whatnot, like actually on camera, aside from the Gentleman Stoners, which has again taught me a lot. Okay, so with music videos specifically, the way that I approach making a music video, after already writing it, because that's really kind of a different process, I think. Well, I guess it's kind of similar, because what I do when I write a music video, a lot of times I'm just, you know, kind of going through that same, whatever feeling the song is about, and just telling the story in a different way, but it still stems from the same thing. So I think with a music video, I was thinking about this in the car today, any song, pretty much any song like you could ever think of, can probably be summed up into either a word or a phrase. So something, if it's a breakup song, you know, heartbreak, or I miss you, or love, or confusion, I'm lost. Every song can be kind of summed up into just a fragment of emotion, I think. So I think the key to when you're trying to do a music video is, and probably any film or any short film can probably be summed up into like generally one statement, but I think what you need to do with the songs, for me, this is kind of how I approach it. I generally know what that feeling or word is before I release a song, but sometimes I actually have to go there and sit and be like, okay, what is the one word, what is the one phrase that this song is saying? So you have to kind of figure out what that is. And then with the music video, I think a lot of mine that I've done are less about like doing a really big, high budget, cool looking fucking video. I've never really cared about that. I like to portray or try to express that emotion as many different little ways as I can. So that's a lot of my music videos are very centered around just attention to detail and small movements and small facial expressions and small decisions. And the reason for that is I think emotion is such a delicate thing. It can be like a fiery fucking dragon too, but I think ultimately it's this very kind of delicate, complicated, you know, beautiful, treacherous thing. And I like to just, with the music videos I've done so far, just kind of slow it all down and really put attention on the little things like that. But the way that I kind of do this is a lot of times when I make music videos, there's a, you know, element of duality, which is just something that I've been very fascinated with for a long time, because it's a theme that shows up everywhere in life, and it is everything. It's like duality is what creates the universe, but it's also, you know, oneness at the same time. But without duality, there would be no oneness. So it's this very kind of strange paradox that I've always been very obsessed with, I guess. So most of my music videos have that kind of recurring theme. But when I'm you know, going to shoot it and like film it, I never feel like I am just myself. You know, when I'm shooting a music video, I never have once felt like I was just me getting in front of a camera and doing it. I always like fully embody whatever that emotion or phrase or word is. That's all that's in my, you know, mind at the time when I'm filming. So every single movement I make, every single you know, facial expression, every single decision in the video, I'm acting out of that emotion. So for example, it's like anytime in life you can act out of the emotion that you feel. So if you're angry, you can act out of that and go and break something. If you're happy, you can act out of that and go give somebody a hug. So whatever emotion you're carrying, you can act out of, if that makes sense. I'm not talking about acting like acting, I mean like just, you know, going and doing something or making a decision or speaking. So I'm always acting, whatever I'm doing in the music video, I'm acting out of that emotion. If I pick up a butterfly, then I'm picking up that butterfly out of, you know, just fear of something. Fear of like this beautiful little thing that's so beautiful at the time, but like you're scared because it's delicate. So however you can apply whatever emotion it is to the thing that you're doing, or the scene, or the whatever it is, performance, you just have to find a way to do that. So it's like, how, if you were acting out of fear, how would you approach this object, or how would you approach this movement or this decision? Whereas if you were acting out of, you know, love, how would you approach it? You do it completely differently. So I think all you need to worry about is really embodying whatever feeling that is, because then you just, once it sinks in, you just kind of start to do things out of that. So yeah, I mean I think that's kind of like the essence of it. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that because I did get a couple questions about that, and it's really nice to be able to do that, because what happens is, at least for me, it's like when you create something like that, like a visual thing, like whenever I make a music video and I watch it later, like after it's done, I see something new that I didn't see before. And I think that's also part of the theme of duality. It's like all these little pieces, like every take that we do and every scene and everything, it's all these little fragmented things, but when it's all comes together as one thing that's made up of all those things, it says something different, and it literally is like a visual kind of reflection of whatever emotion I was feeling when I wrote this song. So it's really cool to be able to see that, because it's like sometimes when I'm doing that, just because I'm sinking in and embodying this emotion or this feeling, I don't really think about what I'm doing in the video. You know, I'm not concerned with my takes, I'm not concerned with how I look as much, because I'm simply just absorbed into whatever I'm doing in the take. So it's just cool to see that, because you learn things about yourself, you know. And I think, because, you know, I think it's the same as, like, some people ask me, like, how do you get over just like stage fright and stuff like that. I think being in front of a camera is the same kind of thing. But there was a piece of advice that Michael Caine gave in one of his classes, and he said, the camera loves you deeply, no matter what, even if you ignore it for the rest of your life. It loves you, it's always watching you, it sees everything you do, and it just loves you, it doesn't judge you. And I think what happens, cause I used to experience this when I first started shooting videos. Like, as soon as the camera comes on, you're so aware that it's there, that you start to act completely differently, you know what I mean? And the key, I think, is whatever you're doing is being absorbed in that, as you would be in real life. And the more, and this is why I think a lot of actors say acting is about listening, because the more you're focused on the other people or the other things that you're doing in the scene, it's like you're not thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about the camera, you're actually thinking about what you're doing, which is the purpose of acting, whether it's in a music video or a film or anything. It's just, you're just doing it, you know. And that's the key. It's like in life, we don't rehearse things. I mean, maybe sometimes we have to tell somebody something crazy, but it's just like you go to brush your teeth, you're not, okay, how should I pick up the toothbrush? How should I brush my teeth? You know, like, you're not doing that. You're just doing things. You're just being. You're just existing. Same with when you talk to people. And this, I think, is a very, like, yeah, it's just such a important thing to understand, I think. Like, when you're talking to people, you're not thinking. You're reacting to what they're saying. Like, what they're saying a lot of times determines what you say. And the reason for that is because you're actually engaged with them and you're listening. And I think it's the same, like, with when you're acting, whatever you're doing. So yeah, in the context of a music video, it would just be like whatever is happening in the scene to you or around you is the other person. So you're absorbed in that, and that in real life would kind of determine your reactions. So it's the same in a video. And if you don't know, like, you know, if let's say you write a song about something that you don't necessarily understand, I think what you do is you just kind of recall a time in your life that is at least similar to that feeling, something that can at least, you know, help you put yourself in that mindset. Or even if it's like, you know, somebody who went through that, think about, just imagine how they felt at the time, and, you know, just you kind of start to realize, like, you actually do understand what people feel, and you actually can put yourself in different situations. Like, even if you don't really feel like you've experienced it for yourself, we all have a pretty good general understanding of each other and of what we all go through individually. And I just think you apply that. But again, I think, like, when you're creating anything at all, when you have more of, like, a fundamental just understanding of just reality or just consciousness, like, when you work to build that foundation for yourself, like, the other stuff it's not as hard, really. It's like when you just are generally more present and more in the moment, which is something that comes from reflection, I think, and just questioning things and self-inquiry and just meditating, whatever, or just doing things that you enjoy, or creating itself. You're just kind of way more present anyway, so you don't have to try as hard, I think, for doing any of that stuff. But yeah, hopefully that helped, guys. I know it was a bit of a short one. I just wanted to touch on that because I've never talked about it. I absolutely love filming music videos. I love editing them. Like, I love, like, going home with the memory card full of the footage and throwing it in my computer and then just, like, drinking a bunch of coffee and editing. Like, editing is one of my favorite parts. And yeah, Micah, I don't know, he always, like, just lets me edit the Gentleman Stoners too, and I love it. I love it, and it's for some reason some people hate editing, and you know I've always loved it because it's like you get to shape it, you know, and I think that's half the telling of the story is when you shape it. So I just love getting on my computer with my headphones on with some coffee and just like taking all the raw footage, finding the best moments, and just like splicing them together to make like one whole thing. And it's just it's such an amazing process. Like I love it so much, and yeah. So hopefully that helped and you know meant something. It wasn't super deep, but I mean it was, I guess, kind of deep, whatever. But yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add. I don't really think so. I just think don't if you're creating something, don't overthink it. Just do it, because creation and thinking are two, I think, separate realms, and they integrate with each other, and you need to hold pieces of both. But when you're actually in the midst of creating a thing, the most important thing is being present, I think, being in the moment. And a lot of times when you're creating something, like if I'm sitting in working on a song, like 8 hours will go by and I haven't eaten. I totally forgot to eat. I forgot that it was fucking already 9 o'clock at night, like because you're so absorbed in it, like it just kind of shifts time a little bit. So I think just the key is really just being present and keeping the vision in mind, you know, because I think for me at least, like for some reason everything that I do, I know nothing except how I want it to turn out. I just know how I want it to turn out. And like when we go to shoot a music video, like I remember when I did the Pavement music video, it was so cold. Like we got there and it was like, oh my god, like we did the first couple shots and I was just like, fuck man, like we were all just like, oh my god, like it's so cold. Like I barely feel my hands, feel my feet, and we were already only like 5 minutes in. So I was like kind of having doubts. I was like, fuck, you know, this this isn't gonna turn out because we all feel like shit and like whatever. But I just had this vision of it and we kept shooting. And it just did, and that's happened every single time with every video. Even with these Gentleman Stoners episodes that we've done, me and Micah, like, I don't know, we're very like connected on that level. He's done like pretty much, like most of my music videos have just been me and him, and we just have this weird, awesome connection with all that stuff. So whenever we just kind of roughly know what we want, we shoot a bunch of stuff, and it always turns out to be that, you know. And I think there's just so much value in just kind of knowing your vision. Because even if you feel kind of anxious during the time of shooting or whatever, you know, as long as you hold the vision, I think the universe is like subconsciously directing you through that, you know. And you just got to power through it. And sometimes anxiety or sometimes, you know, nervousness actually ends up looking kind of cool on camera. I mean, depending on what you're doing and depending on the level of it. But I think it's not always a bad thing to feel that. You just kind of harness it and bring it into what you're doing, you know. Because you feel anxious in real life, right? So it's like, you know, but you feel anxious in real life, but you still function. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say you're in a mall, you feel anxious as fuck for whatever reason. You still kind of find a way to like blend in. You still find a way to just kind of pretend that you don't. So that's kind of what you do. You know what I mean? You just do that. You just do what you do in real life, and you just approach it as if it was just real life. And that's one thing that I'm really learning, I think, with acting and stuff. And you know, I still haven't done like a whole lot of actual work, but that's something that I want to do. And that, like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I have to do to continue that path, because it's just, I just want it. I just want to do it. I just want to create those things, and I love expressing myself in that way, and it's fun. I learn a lot about myself from doing that too. So, yeah. But music videos though, just, it's all about that emotion, I think, depending on what you're doing. I don't know. I think it doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm just thinking about videos where it's like the band is just like playing the song, looking hot, fucking all these lights, you know what I mean? That's maybe a bit different when you just simply want it to look cool. But I think still you kind of have to carry some emotion through that. But yeah. Alright guys, well that's about it for this one, I think. Download my app if you haven't already, please. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. And follow me on Instagram, SayWeCanFly. I will have something more for you next week. I love you guys, stay cozy, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.